Chapter 78 to 80. How could you side with them after everything that they have done? This new transformation just proves it, that you are on the wrong side. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter now. Once I defeat you, your legacy will be removed from the annals of time. You will be forever looked upon as the villain. Yamashi was backed into a corner. He had tried his hardest with his new Super Saiyan God transformation to reform the Saiyan society. But even with it, he has been pushed to his limit. His comrades that helped him achieve the new form were all captured, their group labeled as traitors to their own race. The civil war was a long one, and the grudge that the current savage society that Yamoshi grew up with started very young. As the son of the current king, he was granted many privileges as he grew up. He held a somewhat eventful and content life with his mother, father, and brother. He would fight in his free time and spend time with his family for the rest, monitoring his people's needs with his dad, playing around with his brother, or helping his mother with other things. Of course, the standard of the Saiyan race wasn't great. Communities and cities would be scattered far from each other, and with the Saiyans' attitudes, they weren't really one for bonding. Their technology barely reached the standard for space travel, but even so, they liked their simple lives. If his life was so perfect, what could make him possibly hate on them so? It was one evening when Yamoshi was playing with his group of friends. 5 to be precise, and despite Saiyan's nature to not form bonds, these friends had a tight-knit relationship. All of their personalities rubbed off of each other, making them laugh and expressed happiness whenever they got together. Yamoshi, father is calling you back to the house. There is something you need to hear. His brother interrupted his time with his friends. His cold stare bore through them all, reminding them that their personalities were different than the average Saiyan. Returning home with his brother, he knelt before his father, who was on his throne. Father, come with me. Turning his back to Yamoshi, he led him to the small medical that was in the side of his home. Having a confused expression throughout the entire trip, his father kept looking back at him from time to time to make sure he was following. Entering the medical room, the image of his damaged mother laid before him. He rushed to her side to inspect her, to ask her what was wrong. Mother, are you alright? What happened? Son, your mother passed away earlier today. What? Tears erupted from his eyes like a tidal wave. They fell off his face like rain in stormy weather as he turned to his father, who still had a cold expression on his face. He looked as if he wanted an explanation, so his father provided him one. Your mother lost a duel. Since she was weaker and started the fight, it is her own fault that she lost. What? We must get revenge. Those savages can't get away like this. Thud. Yamoshi held his cheek that was caved in from where his father punched him. The tears forcibly stopped producing but kept rolling down his cheeks as he looked up at his father. Wipe your face. Those tears are unsightly. As I said, she lost to no fault but her own. Revenge? It is already humiliating that she lost. There is no need to sully our pride more. It was the only reason I married her. You best remember that. It seems she stopped training after having you too. Such a foolish woman. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He knew that Xian had their emotions in check, but how could you show contempt to your dead wife for losing? How far has this society fallen for this to happen? The 16-year-old boy couldn't take it anymore. His race was a lost cause. They dare kill their own for what? They have no remorse, and from the way their king acted, it didn't seem to stop anytime soon. He had to do it. He had to be the one who changed society. By the only method these savages knew. By force. His hair started turning golden. His eyes started to change color. His father didn't notice anything amiss until the room started to shake like an earthquake. And like a bomb. He exploded. The golden key that surrounded them burst out, destroying the medical room that they were in. Somehow, the bed that had his mother did not get disturbed. His figure started to slowly rise in the air above the castle that his family lived in. Using his newfound powers, his voice echoed all across planet Sadala, stating his intentions. People of the Saiyan race, my name is Yamoshi, and I hereby condemn you all. Through the unspeakable actions of many, our ways as a race are too violent. One without thought, and only fighting. I will change our ways, listen to me, and we will forge a new path to our future. One of prosperity and peace. Yamoshi gave his speech for all to hear. He intended for Saiyans like him, one with emotions, to rise and help him educate the word empathy to the rest. However, even after experiencing the loss of his mother, the family member that he was closest to, he underestimated what the Saiyan race truly was. No one was with him. It was him against the world. In response, many Saiyans from the army and even civilians pushed back against his forceful decree. But under his new power, he was sitting comfortably above them in power. Luckily for the Saiyans, that day was one of a full moon. In planet Sadala, unlike its similar counterparts, its moon became full every few days. Saiyans would also use it to do massive-scale fights compared to the ones they were doing before. Under the effect of the full moon, the Saiyans transformed into great apes, giving them a fighting chance. With their big lumbering bodies, Even with the 10x power boost, the Super Saiyan Yamoshi easily beat them down. That was when someone that he for sure thought was on his side came before him. Brother, you are planning a revolution. For what? The simple death of another female Saiyan compared to the countless others before her who suffered the same fate. Stop this instant. His brother appeared before him. Older by many years, the combat experience he garnered surpassed Yamoshi by miles. Aiming to be the next king, the young prodigy was respected by many in the army and staff. You two brother? Do you not feel anything over mother's death? It seems I have to defeat you too. Yamoshi didn't care about the combat experience. With his new power, he could easily destroy him even if he turned into a great ape. His brother's gaze hardened. All hesitation was gone. Not turning around to look at the full moon, he started to transform by himself. Fur sprouted all across his body, coating him in hair. Markings were etched into his facial features, making him look wilder. Yamoshi didn't account for this to happen. He, like everyone, underestimated his brother's genius. He was able to condense the great ape transformation into something more compact, bolstering his strength by manyfold. This marked the first battle of the Civil War. It ended with a tie as Yamoshi fled the scene, unable to hold his Super Saiyan transformation any longer, living like an outcast outside the cities, planning his next attack. Eventually, the friends from before came to him to help him. They too felt the same way he did, and they became a resistance force. A thorn to the Empire's side. One side was a brother filled with pain, righteousness, and a determination for a better future. Another was a brother filled with fighting spirit, loyalty, and the weight of his race on him. They both represented a side and frequently fought against each other. Due to the nature of Yamoshi's side, one by one, all 5 friends were able to achieve Super Saiyan. The other side was slowly having a massive disadvantage. They had to keep using power balls in every fight, exhausting elite members to fend off the attacks. With their massive army and tactics, they weren't beaten too bad. Leader, we can't keep doing this. Their numbers are too big. No matter how much power we have, they outnumber us way too much. I don't think we can keep this up longer. The other members of the group agreed to what he said. They were getting tired and running out of resources to keep fighting with no results. Haven't you all noticed anything strange about this transformation the more you use it? Like it is incomplete? I feel like I am missing something at the castle. Congratulations, my liege. We can finally put an end to this civil war now that you mastered their transformation. The king opened and released his grip, feeling his new power. His father, Yamoshi's father, has long passed since Yamoshi unlocked his power and blew up the medical room, making him king. No wonder he could beat me easily. After Yamoshi grew and grew, his brother could no longer beat him on his own. It was a great deal of embarrassment that he had to use his army to help fend them off as well. This will not work. His royal advisor revealed a puzzled expression from his outburst. From what I gathered, this newfound power would barely let me stand toe-to-toe with my brother. I need something stronger. I will be on the training grounds. Don't interrupt me unless another attack happens. Both brothers in the midst of finding new power in hopes of ending the war quicker. They didn't have to wait long for their breakthrough. Just a day later, the Revolution Group launched another attack. In confidence in succeeding, they attacked what they didn't attack since the very start of the war. The castle. The castle shook as Yamoshi in his Super Saiyan form launched a ki blast at the infrastructure. Come out, brother. This is the end. The king could be seen flying through the hole on the top where the attack was situated at. He was already in his ape transformation. Both brothers held the eyes of each other for a minute until Yamoshi spoke. This is truly the end. I have reached a power you cannot hope to achieve. He screamed at the top of his lungs in true Saiyan style. The golden hair around him started to corrupt and turn red. His previously memorizing eyes turned blood red. The aura he gave off put so much pressure on everyone on the battlefield, even his teammates. I got this transformation yesterday. Unfortunately, my friends were unable to achieve it as well since they lacked the power to handle it. No matter, with this power, this war is as good as over. When he looked into his brother's eyes, he didn't see a look of fear or hatred, but one of contempt. Impatient as usual, brother. I can tell you are highly unstable in that form. It was true. He didn't know how much longer he could sustain the transformation. I will show you a true transformation. Screaming like his brother, the brown hair around him started to turn red. His eyes transformed into one of a true ape, unbridled with power and rage. He had a look of a true god killer. Yamoshi's eyes widened in response. He truly did not expect this. However, like Yamoshi, his brother only got this transformation yesterday by easily combining 2 existing transformations. He didn't know long he could last. It was the battle of the ages. The entire planet shook in response. The fights of the other Super Saiyans and apes were on hold to watch the battle of the brother above. It was close, but one side was victorious. Yamoshi was heaving, holding his left hand in pain. It didn't respond to his commands as he felt dread climb up his spine. With their leader down, it was easier to capture the other scions. How could you side with them after everything that they have done? This new transformation just proves it, that you are on the wrong side. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter now. Once I defeat you, your legacy will be removed from the annals of time. You will be forever looked upon as the villain. It was the end. His own brother was planning to kill him. No, it couldn't end like this. I will take you and this rotten race with me. Using the last dredges of his power, he simulated his ki similar to the Super Saiyan explosion when he first got his powers. But this time, with divine ki, it was many times bigger. Big enough to consume the planet. The king realized this familiar process and spoke to his generals quickly. Escape. Use the space pods and escape to the nearest habitable planet. But king, now. It's too late. A sphere of ki encircled him, threatening to burst out in any moment. No. I will hold it off. The king, feeling obliged to his people, stretched out his hands. He forcibly pushed against the sphere of destruction and contained it. It was obvious he couldn't hold it for long, but spaceships were already departing the planet. No. I have failed my mission. Those who have tainted blood will still live while I perish. I am sorry, Mother. Yamoshi closed his eyes. In a few seconds, he could explode as he felt that his brother couldn't hold on for much longer. His eyes furrowed in confusion when he didn't go off. He could no longer hear any sound. Opening his eyes, he saw that his world has frozen over. The ki around him was as calm as the ocean. Wondering what was going on, he heard a voice behind him. Would you like to take revenge? He turned around. A purple portal appeared out of nowhere. It was small and was inside his ki of impending doom. A pink hand popped out like a zombie out of its grave. Revenge on those who wronged you? Looking inside the portal, he could see a red eye stared back at him. Come to the future and kill those filthy scions. I will. He reached out and grabbed that hand. It pulled him inside the portal, although it was small enough to fit a cup. He disappeared into the future as the sphere of destruction continued its rampage to destroy the planet. Yamoshi opened his eyes, confused as to what happened. All he remembers is staring into the abyss, only for the abyss to pull him in instead of only staring back. The air around him seemed stifled, muddied. He didn't know if that was just his divine senses making him more attuned with the world and therefore making him feel this way, or if the place the demon grabbed him was just like this. Yamoshi deactivated Super Saiyan God, but even so, the air around him seemed to suffocate him, as if it wasn't meant for living creatures. He looked around the hut he was in. It was very bare with only walls meeting his vision. He didn't even sleep in a bed, but on the hard floor of the house. It was as if the house was only there for decoration and not living. Walking outside, he felt the coldness of space and saw the pink blob that granted his passage here meditating on the floor. His small clothes levitated as did he, like he was in his own world. Then it just stopped. Feeling like the silence could kill him if it went on for any longer, Yamoshi spoke up first. Who are you? And is what you promised true? He. I go by many names, but you can call me Bu. And yes, indeed, I brought you here to aid me. Bu gave off the feeling of creepiness that Yamoshi couldn't put his hand on. However, this had to be put on hold for now since Bu saved him. It was not like he was a prosecutor of justice, nor the like. At heart, he was a scion, just with a little more emotion. I need your help to punish these wicked scions. Their barbaric nature has gone and nearly killed me at every turn. I heard about you, and you are the perfect person to help me. Babidi, who Bu absorbed, had the knowledge of Bibidi, a master of magic. Understandably, he had a wealth of knowledge at his disposal, using every advantage he could get. Wicked scions? You said that this is the future. He could feel it, the deceit and cruelty underlying Bu's words. But like it was mentioned before, even if Bu was evil, it didn't matter to him. All that matters is killing his accursed brother's ancestors. Their evil ways have to come to an end if he can't change them. I don't know why I was able to jump to his time period and reach him. Every time I try to go to the future with this right, that destroyer god and his pet are also there to greet me. The time of Yamoshi was unstable, likely because of the scale of the event or because someone's time traveled there, making a distortion. Yamoshi, this is a once and a lifetime opportunity. The time portal that I brought you through is very unstable and therefore able to have you stay longer, but at most it would only last 3 days. Do what you can for these 3 days, and you will be warped back to your original position. Most likely inside the explosion you created, destroying yourself. Bu literally gave the time of his death down to the seconds. It didn't faze the scion, however, as he left to other information on the current situation of scions. With him distracting Goku, eating up his stragglers would be a piece of cake. Do not listen to Bu. You have been tricked. The battle has been going on for 10 minutes, and Goku was at his limit. He activated Kaioshin, but at this rate, he would need senzu beans to keep up. That is always a bad sign. Are you saying you are not descendants of the original King Vegeta? Well, I wouldn't say that. Let's just say I don't look like him, okay? That didn't deter Yamoshi one bit as he kept his fierce assault. This was the first time he fought an ancient scion, naturally, so all of Yamoshi's moves and fighting techniques threw him off guard. Goku slid back and made one a rope out of ki and expertly wrapped Yamoshi's torso. Pulling back, Yamoshi started to spin the air a bit. Believing him to be disoriented, he went up to approach only for several haywire ki blasts to get launched everywhere. Yamoshi turned into a mini tornado, dishing out ki blast. Goku had to deflect each one until a large one came out. Thinking it was the last attack of the barrage, he stopped it with his hands in order to attempt to bring it back. He didn't get far when the ki blast was cut through as Yamoshi was hiding behind it and aimed for Goku's throat. He couldn't avoid the lethal blow, so he turned his head as much as he could. The blow hit Goku's throat at a strange angle, not utilizing its potential. Goku fell back, rubbing the side of his neck in pain. Why do you even want to kill us? Several hundred years have passed since you last seen a scion. How do you know that we are as vicious as we once were? They had a lengthy conversation while they were fighting. One would wish it was able the weather and such important topics, but that would be saved for another time. That transformation is a sign that you are similar to him, that you draw your power from the same source as him. That is all I need. You are way too narrow-minded. Each of their head-on exchanges shook the world. Shockwave after shockwave rocketed the planet they were on. The entire universe felt the effects like they did long ago. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Who dares wake me up? A grumpy old cat woke up from his slumber, all cranky. He looked around and found that his alarm didn't go off and nothing unnatural occurred. So, in the most normal fashion, started to snore again. Rumble. That snot bubble was popped by another rumble, and at this point, he couldn't go back to sleep. Angrily jumping out of the bed, he put on his clothes and headed outside to see what the commotion was about. Whis! What is happening? Oh, dear my lord. Looks I lost the bet that you wouldn't wake up when this was happening. Who did you bet with? Myself. The feeling of winning and losing at the same time is quite unique. Rumble. Anyway, what's happening? Why just look for yourself? The shaking affected the whole universe, making some planets fear for their destruction, and other primitive ones think it was a holy sign. No matter what, if they continued, someone was going to have to pay a hefty price. Goku was on the losing end. He couldn't see himself winning in a normal battle. Maybe in a battle of stamina with Senzu beans, but such a prolonged battle didn't sit right with him. Why would Buse send him here? To kill the rest of the Scions? He should know that Yamoshi won't be able to do it. Then why? He knew something was up and now is unsure if he regrets moving to a different location, seeing the cracks on the surface of the planet. He might just have to try it, the oldest trick in the book. One so shameless yet important tactic that Rashi invented himself for situations like these. Look, it's your brother, King Vegeta. What were? Goku's pointed finger quickly turned into a fist that caved in Yamoshi's jawline. Hearing a crack, he felt bad but couldn't do anything about it. Seeing the legendary figure slump after that KO shot, that feeling of anxiousness increased at how much easier he thought knocking Yamoshi was than he thought. Putting his fingers up to his forehead to travel back to Earth, he strangely found out he couldn't move it. A grip so tight Goku's arm turned purple nearly instantly landed on his teleportation hand. Looking down, he saw a furious Yamoshi with purple energy leaking out of him like water. Breathe in, then out. You feel the rage inside wanted to burst out and destroy everything? Don't just push it down inside the back of your mind, shove it down the deep abyss. No matter how slow the ladder is to the alternative, it will be better in the long run. I understand what you are saying. Become a monk filled with tranquility and, celibacy. Feeling a pair of hot eyes on him, he quickly changed it. I mean patience and virtue, and a porn mags. The more he spoke, the more he was digging himself, so he took the wise decision and just stopped. Kale, however, found it more than amusing inside this routinely boring training session. He stop making me laugh. Breathe in then out. The rage, I can feel it simmer down. For some reason, it has been a lot easier since Broly showed up. The two legendary Super Saions were meditating while in their Super Saiyan form. Shortly after Broly showed up, they both achieved the hard-earned achievement. It wasn't as if their talent were any less than Caulifla, or even Goku, it was just the condition of their transformation was naturally harder. The two legendary Super Saions had some sort of synchronization that training just that much easier. Of course, Chilai was a bit jealous that Broly spent so much time with Kale training, but it wasn't like she was going to stop them. She just kept on watching from the control room through the mirror. Sipping on some specially made drink by Chi-Chi, she was reading a book as well to integrate more into Earth culture. Perhaps that was the reason why she didn't notice View enter the training grounds. That, or you could barely see him. Collapsed onto the floor to look like spilt liquid coupled with an invisibility spell to boot, he was able to easily go inside the control room, and two looked inside the glass without Chilai noticing. Feeling the power that the two gave in waves, it was as if he was hit with pure ecstasy. Such raw power, such raw potential. He just wanted to gobble it all if the drool on his mouth didn't give it away. Going under the door like water, he was slowly approaching the behind of the closest target. Kale's sweaty back was easily exposed for Buu to see. Broly's eyes shot up in seconds and scanned the room. He looked behind Kale intensely multiple times before scratching his head in confusion. Kale opened up one eyelid along with its eyebrow to question Broly. Something wrong, Broly? And nothing Broly shook his head and got right back to meditation. Maybe it was the rage trying to cloud his senses, or maybe the constant paranoia that he attained when facing dangerous situations. Dangerous situations wouldn't exist soon as long as he trained hard. He wasn't doing this training for himself, but for the people around him. Buu was sweating bullets after the intense stare down by Broly. Buu averted his eyes down in fear that Broly's senses would alert him more. He could have confidence in fighting an enraged legendary Super Saiyan as he could trick them, but two sane ones are out of his league. Buu furrowed his imaginative brows and scuttled in the corner. He needed to wait for the perfect opportunity until he acted. He could tell Broly was more alert and decided to wait it out a little bit longer. Waiting was in his portfolio after all. Another Senza down the drain, I don't have much left. Yamoshi was going crazy with a purple aura swirling around him like an evil entity. Ever since he got this boost, everything about him multiplied. With no visible strain on his body, Goku was at a disadvantage right away again. Yamoshi came crashing down after he ate that Senza bean, but Goku flipped out of the way. Bouncing on the ground like a ball, he torpedoed towards Goku, forcing him to stretch out his arms and stop his push. Hands met, and they clasped each other before Goku started sliding back several feet. Eventually, Goku stopped kicking dirt up, revealing Yamoshi, with several veins protruding from his forehead. What the heck are you doing? Doping? You know that is illegal, right? I don't know what you joke about, but that Buu was right when telling me I would use this against you. Buu gave that to you? But where is your Majin mark? Don't tell me. If you need to console anything to me, just say it. I've seen too many doujin to know where this is headed. Get your head out of your fantasies. I didn't take any marks. That Buu did some sort of magical spell or something. Told me that it will boost me more than the Majin mark, but I will turn weak afterward. Oh, thanks for telling me. Not like you will live to see it. Goku's hands started to bend down in the contest of strength. Soon he was kneeling on one knee trying to hold on. Sparks of lightning started to course around Goku, with his appearance turning more feral, but that instantly vanished as fast as it came. Dang it. True Super Saiyan isn't as easy to combine with ape like regular Super Saiyan is, but I have to keep trying. Goku did everything he had to combine the two transformations to get the power boost he needed. He did it so much and so desperately that his ki started to spiral crazily, and any semblance of control was thrown out the window. Ah! Screaming to the sky, you could see Goku's transformation turning more and more into an ape. Markings on his face became more accentuated, and his eyes started to gloss over. It would seem he finally broken through and became something more. If only! His eyes turned a bright red, the same way great apes do. His struggling and human vocal cords started to become more and more primitive and desperate. The wildness took over Goku's body, and he bit into Yamoshi's forearm. Hard, like trying to tear meat from the bone. He tried to let go of the hole, but Goku wanted to clasp his hands, not letting go. Before a portion of his arm went down Goku's throat, he kicked the stomach of the kneeling man, making him release his teeth. He inwardly celebrated that he didn't kick his face, or else the deep bite marks would be the only thing left of his arm. Yamoshi backed away, and what he saw wasn't a man or even a Saiyan. It was as if the guy gave himself to the devil with the way Goku's eyes preyed on Yamoshi, with his arms out ready to smash. Ugh. Pounding his chest, the original Goku was long gone, replaced with this maddened version. Jumping up towards Yamoshi, with leg strength that no one can compete in a million leg days, Yamso he wondered how gravity was pulling him down so fast. Not wanting to get crushed, he disappeared from that spot into 10 meters away. Goku, landing on the ground, rumbled the planet and created a web with a crater at the center. He tried to make out the silhouette standing up inside the dirt that blew up, but regretted it instantly. Those red eyes that stared him down made him freeze in his tracks. Rows of sharp teeth for chomping meat were shown as he opened his mouth. Exhaling, steam exited his mouth from the excitement that was boiling in his body. Like the ape he was, he jumped again, making the crater bigger, and was ready to come down and smash that ancient Saiyan to a pulp.